Okay. Right. Okay. Where am I? Where? Oh, I can't do voices. Where am I? Daniel muttered. Oh, good, you're awake. Where am I? Daniel repeated. You're in the hospital. You were found unconscious on the floor in Emma's house in a pool of blood after someone called 911. I don't know why 911. It's the United Kingdom. Who
This
is?
all happened in Emma's American summer home.
I know. Who is that? Is that you, Matt? Matt Collins announced his presence. Yes, you were found in pretty bad shape. Emma was also nowhere to be found. You know what happened? Do you remember at all what happened? Daniel tried to speak. He only opened his mouth, but Matt was greeted by a load of blood spewing out of Dan. Then Dan blacked out. I'm his best friend. I have to put up with this, Matt thought to himself. I'll come tomorrow when you feel better, Matt mumbled, cleaning his face with one of Dan's shirts. Why am I cleaning it with Dan's shirt? There's towels. Hospitals have towels. Why? And it implies that it was like projectile blood. That doesn't happen.
I did just get the impression that he opened his mouth, there was just a fountain of blood that just spurted out.
Well, yeah,
like Cyclops if he ever takes off his glasses.
Yeah, but there's something with blood coming out of your mouth. It's usually congeals and it just drips out. It doesn't. It's not a spray. It's not blood in the mouth. Anyway, why a shirt? That's just inconsiderate of me as well.
Maybe I visited and dropped off some linen shirts to mop up the blood.
That's right. That's it. Okay. The next day. Oh god, this is like several paragraphs. The next day, Daniel was slowly awakened by the sound of static from the television. He opened his eye and was greeted by a shard of pain echoing through. A shard of pain. A shard of pain echoing throughout his head. Daniel tried to scream, but what came out was more of a groan. Dan twisted his head sideways to find his best friend sitting in the chair, reading a porno magazine. Hey, Matt, Dan said weakly. Hey, Dan, how are you feeling? You may not remember it, but you spewed out a load of crap on my face. I just want to point out that happens anyway. That's not a specific story-related thing. That's a legitimate real life. Anyway, sorry about that. Feeling better now, Dan answered. So what happened? How did you get in the hospital, Matt asked. I don't know. I don't remember, Dan lied. Well, the doctor said you'll be discharged in a few more days, so rest off. Matt walked towards the door and left the room. Daniel was conflicted on whether he should say what happened, but he doesn't want Emma to get into trouble. Daniel was conflicted on whether he should say what happened. He doesn't want Emma to get into trouble. Then if he did say what happened, Emma might lie and say that she was sexually assaulted and press charges. Daniel wanted to avoid all of that, so he thought it would be best if he kept his mouth shut. Dan slowly drifted off to sleep. A few days later, like, this is a lot of fucking setup here.
We're just here for the plot. We're here for the plot.
Okay. A few days later, Daniel walked down the corridor with a patch around his eye. He slowly walked down towards the help desk and waited. As he waited, he looked around and saw a child in the gift shop dancing about. He wondered what it felt like to be a child again, not to have responsibilities, just to be carefree. So that's a typo. Like the kid. Here are relief papers, said the nurse. Thank you. Dan then walked towards the exit. He found his best friend Matt waiting for him in the front of the building. It's a legal requirement that they have to go out in a wheelchair for that situation. But anyway, hey there, feeling better? I can see. Let me help you. Matt took Daniel's arm and put it around his shoulder. Once again, they'd legally go out in a wheelchair because, you know. Matt took Daniel's arm and put it around his shoulder. At that moment, for Dan, time slowed down. He could smell the strawberry cologne. Strawberry cologne. And
Strawberry cologne?
Strawberry cologne. And could see his trimmed beard. Dan felt something he'd never felt before. His heart was pounding. Dan never wanted this moment to end. Dan rested. I'm
going to check if the strawberry cologne's even a thing. I'm going to see if I can find that online.
That
Dan's
sounds
head
really
against Matt's shoulder
weird.
as Matt helped him into the car.
Fucked up.
Thank you, Dan said. No problem. That's what friends are for. Matt opened the door and helped Dan in the car. Matt pulled out of the parking lot and drove down the highway. I don't know why this is in the United States. The car was filled with the intoxicating aroma of Matt's aftershave. Dan felt the vibration of the car as it motored down the highway. Dan slowly leaned towards Matt, put his head against Matt's shoulder. Matt turned on the radio. Okay. This just in, an attempted murder was found at the residence of Emma Blackery. What? An attempted murder was found at the residence of Emma Blackery. That doesn't make sense as a sentence. Master Stodrio. Dan, can you please tell me what happened while you were at Emma's house? I promise I won't tell. Do you trust me? Dan asked. What for? I said. Answer me. Do you trust me? Dan repeated. Yes, I replied. Daniel told Matt what happened. He told Matt what he tried to do. He told Matt everything. Matt was speechless. Speechless. Okay. Is what you're telling me all true? Matt asked. Yes, Dan responded. All right. Matt then took an illegal U-turn. An illegal U-turn. I had to specify that it was an illegal U-turn. Where are we going? Dan asked, shocked. I need to get something from me house. I want you to sit down and shut the fuck up. We're already in a car. He's already sat down. Do you know how much trouble you're in? And with Emma missing, Jesus, I'm going to get fucked up in this mess. Do you even know what to do? Matt kept ranting it down for half an hour. That's a legit. That sounds realistic enough.
Can I just check on one detail, actually?
Yeah.
If Emma Blackery took a swing at Dan, would she be able to even reach his eye?
No.
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 Because there's a hell of a height difference there.
There is.
Is this story... Would she have to be standing on a small box in order to punch Dan in the face?
For comparison, right. I'm small compared to Dan, and I've met Emma Blackery, and she's very small compared to me, so... Just... Yeah.
She'd need a stick. She'd need a stick to hit Dan in the face.
She'd need a stick, yeah.
What
Emma.
the fuck?
I'm sorry. I feel like Emma might be watching this and be annoyed at me. Dan zoned out for a few minutes after Matt started talking. Matt took out his phone and made a call. That's illegal. Dan didn't pay attention as he was fantasizing about him and Matt starting a new life together, having children, going on dates.
What is happening?
Wait, that came out of nowhere. Whoa.
I mean,
That escalated really quickly.
But
Is she still wearing an eye patch at this point?
Yeah, but they have all this build-up, so like, so...
It's just like it went 0 to 100 real quick.
You to be interested in each other.
Okay, right. He drifted off to sleep. Hey Emma, can you tell me what happened between you and Dan? The news said that someone attempted murder at your house. I need you to stay calm. I will tell you everything. Emma said nervously. During the drive to someone tweet this at Emma, by the way. During the drive to Matt's house, Matt was thinking about Dan. What is he going to do with him? How to stop him from getting involved in more sexual harassment? As Matt slowly pulled into his house, he awoke Dan. Hey Dan, I'm going inside to get something. Do you want something to drink? Maybe eat. Okay, thanks, Matt. I didn't.
The end?
No, it just said okay. Like I said, do you want something to drink?
That's not the end.
I said, do you want something to drink? Maybe eat. And then Dan said, okay, thanks, Matt. And that was the end of that.
We'll get both. Get him something to eat and drink, you insensitive bastard.
But,
Matt doesn't do he's not very hospitable.
Matt went to his door and slowly opened it. Matt took Dan from the car and carried him in and laid him on the couch. Matt went to go preheat the oven. And as he did that, Dan turned on the television. Matt sat down next to him. Dan sighed slightly. Hey, Matt, I need to tell you something. Sure, what is it? Dan leaned towards Matt and their lips touched.
Oh my god.
God,
that happens to me when I turn to people all the time accidentally.
Because that's a normal distance people stand from each other.
Dan leaned towards Matt and their lips touched. Matt shocked flinched back. I love you. I always have. I have this feeling when I'm around you. I love you, Daniel said. Matt slowly leaned towards Dan. Their lips once again touched. Eyes were closed and lips were locked. Matt passionately kissed Dan. Dan's tongue was begging for entrance. Matt opened his mouth and Dan's tongue began exploring. Dan started taking off Matt's shirt and his head slowly went below Matt's belt. Dan unbuckled Matt's belt and removed his pants.
What type of pants were they? This is important.
0 to 100.
This is 0 to 200, dude. This is way up there.
Dad's just been he's just come out of hospital.
He's got an eye patch on and
It's
everything.
amazing he's feeling up for this.
Dan began to caress the head of Matt's penis, licking it through the fabric. Matt softly moaned. Matt pulled off the underwear. Matt pulled off the underwear, and Matt guided Dan's mouth towards him. A roaring feeling was felt throughout. A roaring feeling was felt throughout Matt's body, and Dan began to move his head up and down. Matt thrusted himself at Dan, with every thrust leaning closer towards coming.
That was
What am I
fast.
doing with my life? This is my Saturday evening. I missed Doctor Who for this.
What?
I gave up Doctor Who for this.
Don't stop, Matt lovingly said. A few seconds later, Matt moaned loudly as Dan's mouth was filled and overflowing with a white substance. Matt heard
What substance was it?
Didn't say. Matt heard that it's just like it's just
Sour
just
cream.
flour. It's flour. Matt heard Daniel gulp. Tasty. Matt
Oh.
proceeded to arch his back, sitting his bare ass in the air. Go slowly, Matt softly said. Daniel guided himself towards Matt, pouring lube over his erect.
Where did that come from?
It
You just carry lube on your
it was hidden under the sofa.
Was it
cushion just
prepared
for the
already? Like,
specific thing.
was this
Is
planned?
this the thing guys do that I just missed all these years? Are we just supposed to be carrying lube with us at all times?
Apparently.
Can we just play
okay.
Worms?
The penis touched the ass, and Matt wailed as Dan slowly entered Matt. Daniel filled Matt up with himself, in which Dan moaned loudly. Daniel went further and further in until there was no more left. He pulled back out and thrusted inwards. Daniel felt an amazing sensation flowing through his body and grabbed Matt's penis. Slowly moved his hand up and down in sync with him thrusting in and out. Like a pendulum. I can just imagine a pendulum. Or like a Newton's cradle.
Thankfully, I can't imagine anything right now. I'm trying to think of other things. I can't imagine anything.
Okay.
What colour's the sofa in your imagination in this scenario?
Brown.
What colour is
It's Ash's sofa.
Yes,
Ash's sofa.
I'm about to come, said Dan. Do it inside me. I want you to fill me up, says Matt. Dan started the thrust more rapidly in and out. Matt felt the heat of Dan's semen as it poured into Matt's ass like a fountain.
Like
I
a
told my
what?
subscribers to come here, and I meant it.
Dan moaned as semen expelled out of him all over Matt's back and shot as far as
Oh.
Matt's head, which
Oh
isn't
my
very far, mind you. Matt and Dan laid beside each other. I love you, Dan said softly. I love you too, Matt replied. I don't care what happens to you. I will always love you. The end.
Wait, what happened to Emma Blackery?
Yeah, this is not
What happened
finished.
to Emma Blackery?
She
What did
died.
Emma Blackery do?
No, she died. I don't know.
But what happened?
I don't know.
I need to know how the plot ends.
There's a sequel. Don't worry.
No,
There
there's
better
not.
be.
There's no sequel, unfortunately. The user who wrote this, literally, this is the only thing they ever did on Reddit.
I wonder why.
uh,
Jesus Christ.
oh.
We need to message this person and tell them that
Now-
we need a sequel where we find out what
now,
the hell happened to Emma
I know
Blackery.
for a fact there are worse fan fictions of me and Dan out there.
Why do you think you and Dan have attracted this level of shipping?
I don't know. I think because Rebecca really egged it on.
Oh, Rebecca, it is all Rebecca's fault.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything equivalent for Dan and Watt or anything?
No, just me and Dan. Just me and Dan.